Hey guys, I'm going to shoot a short video on how to repair landing gear on a plane when you rip it out of a wooden airplane. Unfortunately, this is a brand new airplane that had 2 flights on it. Second flight, I unfortunately misjudged the landing. There's a big dump where I fly, and I thought I was on my side of the hill. Pretty shocked to see that I hit the top of the hill. I've been flying a long time, and sometimes it's just a bad call. But anyway, the repair is pretty straightforward. This is an Extreme Flight 104 MSX. Probably one of the best airplanes I've ever owned, and I'd like to get it back in the air soon, but I'm not rushing it. So the repair is pretty straightforward. I can just tell you guys, when you start a repair like this, when you crash a plane, I know it's disheartening, but take a bag out there, pick up all your parts, because things just seem to fall into place if you do that. And a good example would be this piece right here. It snapped in half. I picked it up. I didn't realize where it went, but after I glued it back together, it fits right in this location, and it saves a little bit of time, and it kind of makes you happy at this point because you're not having to modify and make pieces. So that's an example of what you can find that you thought was trash or a broken airplane. This repair, I actually got very lucky. Extreme Flight, maybe by design, the landing gear plate is made from a laminate that's a certain thickness that is not available online or even at stores. It's a laminate that they make, and it looks like it was put together with rubber glue, which kind of looks cheesy, but in retrospect what happened was this piece just ripped out of the plane, and both of my formers, front and rear, really didn't get a whole lot of damage. This one is for canisters, and I'm running tuned pipes, so it's too small. And I do put the spacers in here, but it's really not used, but it is support and it is structure, and it's actually still pretty well intact. There is some damage to the front, and these pieces right here, where the L brackets fit, they just ripped out, and they were all jagged. And so what I did was I took my cutoff wheel here. I don't know if you can see it, but I did a straight edge cut, and I left the very bottom of each bolt hole. Maybe less than a 1/16 of an inch of that hole is showing. And what that allows me to do is make brackets that will fit in that same location. That's this piece right here. And what it is, I just made a plate out of plywood, and I drilled it on my drill press. I used this as the guide, and I picked up my holes, so they'll go like that. And then the other piece that goes in there is this little piece, and what that does is it gives me my spacing when this thing sits up there to put my bracket exactly where it needs to be for the landing gear. It's going to basically be in the same location. This location will get glue, this backside will get some glue on it, and then the bracket will go in, get bolted together, and what happens is this piece basically sandwiches that piece of wood. And I've got this one already installed, but it's not glued and it's not tightened yet. But you can see the finished product on the brackets kind of look like this. It's a little wobbly because it's not tight yet, but that plate will go down inside this little cut that I make in here and gets epoxy, and then it gets a 90-degree on the back side. I don't have room for the front, a piece of triangular stock. But once that's put in place and clamped, it'll be good and secure for the gear. I'll go ahead and use these clamps, get it in there once the glue's in, tighten it down, let it dry overnight, get a good bond, do the other side. And then the other piece that had to be made, well, actually there's several pieces, but this piece you save, and that's basically a rough idea of what you gotta build to fit back in here, because this, you don't want to reuse this. This is broken, fractured, stressed. It's not gonna hold up. You can put a lot of glue on it. I've seen guys just fill them with Gorilla Glue and they look ugly and they don't last. Basically what you do is take that piece and make yourself a template. And what I use is just a cereal box, cardboard. Take it, cut it out. You see some of these tabs were missing. I was able to pick up the location of where the old tabs were. You make yourself a nice template like this, And even though it's cardboard, once you fit it in there, you can get this thing, it's a little flimsy, but you get it in and you want a nice tight snug fit like that on your template, because the piece that you're going to make to fit here is going to be tight, and you're just going to shave and clean it up to get the best possible fit. Now these edges right here, this piece extended into here, I made my template, laid it down, and did a nice straight cut, so I got an overlap on this piece of plywood that gives a little bit of bite, and same thing on the back side. I got a little bit of bite on the plywood. So that's my template, and what you basically do from this point is get your jigsaw out, and you get a nice, I went and bought a nice piece of hobby grade ply, and that right there is the template that I use. This is the piece that I made. It's a little bit thicker, so what I had to do, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I had to file down each one of these tabs to get them to fit into the slots. And how this should work when you're done is this will go in here and you get it pushed in all the way. Let's see, I can get it in there, and then it pushes down. That's a nice fit, and you'll epoxy that piece in to all the tabs along the back side. Along the front side, it'll bite on this edge still, and that'll be your plate for your landing gear. Then what you do is you still use this old piece. I made this one out of balsa. You just make yourself a template for your holes. Once that, I've already checked it. I've already checked this piece against my brackets. Once they're installed, it matches. You'll make a mark of, I haven't done it yet, but you'll make your mark of where this thing lays, something like that. And I'll make the marks on this piece or on this piece or here to relocate this once this is all glued together, and these will be my pilot holes to drill in. You know, I'll have the 4 holes for my landing gear. And so theoretically, when you're ready to rock and roll with this thing and start recovering, you'll have a nice solid repair, and it won't pick up a lot of weight. It's you don't have a lot of pieces exposed showing that are gonna, you know, say I fixed this. These little splices are easy to make. Another thing I'll point out is before I start, I'll run a piece of tape, and I'll take my X-Acto knife and follow that. All this covering is going to come off, so I want to have a one-piece repair on my covering. I got the blue coming to do the backside where the landing gear went out and hit the back of the plane. I still have these 2 repairs to do. The landing gear did that, which is cosmetic, but I can fix that. And then landing gear did this as well on its way out. Also punched a hole in one of my wings. But anyway, just a short video. Hopefully, you know, I've learned online. You can learn something from anybody. Hopefully one of you guys have never done this repair before, and you know, maybe this will help you out. Just say that the techniques that I learned were not my own. My father actually was in the hobby his whole life, and I learned a lot as a child watching him do repairs, and tried to copy that here. Anyway guys, that's how it's done, and that's how I do it. It does make for a nice lightweight repair when it's finished, and I'll try to update this when I get the repair completed and let you see the finished product. But hopefully I'll have about maybe 25 or 30 hours into this repair, and hopefully it'll look good when I'm done. And I'm looking forward to flying this again, because this is one very sweet flying airplane. Anyway, thanks for watching, and again, I hope this was able to help somebody down the road. Thanks guys.